All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with y'all. Let's get rid of this. And let's get rid of this. All right. Kristen, did that come up right?
Looks good.
Okay, awesome. All right, so the information that we're going to be sharing with you guys is information that we have right now. So that's definitely something that y'all need to be aware of, is that given the current situation that and the how quickly things can change, if the current situation changes and it becomes better and or it becomes worse, then some of this information could change. And if that's the case, then we will definitely be letting you know as soon as that new information becomes available. But as of right now, this is the information that we have for you, so this is what we are going to be sharing. Let's see. What is TECHConnect? I don't know if you guys have heard the word TECHConnect, but TECHConnect is the name of our orientation program. We do have another program that a lot of you guys have probably gone through called Tech Advise, which is our advising and registration program. And it's pretty easy to figure out Tech Advise, TECHConnect, kind of what the point is of each of those programs. So TECHConnect is our fall orientation for incoming students. Whether you are a freshman or a transfer, we have an orientation program for you. Some of your friends might be going to other schools and they may have, let's say, an orientation program during the summer, and they're doing like a 1-day orientation or a 2-day orientation during the summer. A lot of those programs, given the current situation, are going to be virtual, but we do our orientation the first couple of days before classes start in August. And so hopefully we will be able to get you guys on campus and to help you really feel connected to campus and start figuring out your way, how to get along and how to know where everything is. So that's definitely something that we're excited about. The most important day that you guys need to put on your calendars is the first day of classes. So if you have not written that down, that's definitely something that you need to write down. Wednesday, August 19th is the first day of class. Like I said, the information that I am telling you is information that I know right now. So if anything changes along those lines, then we will let you know. But Wednesday, August 19th is the first day of classes, and orientation for incoming students is going to be happening before that. And so we're going to go through all of this, the online pre-orientation, as well as what the on-campus orientation looks like. So our online pre-orientation, that will be available through a website that we have called The Link on June 15th. And so we will send out an email to everybody to your ATU email address. So if that's not something you have set up, that's definitely something that you want to set up. But you'll receive an email on June 15th that has all of the access details, and it'll let you know how to get into this pre-orientation and all of the requirements. So on this pre-orientation, there are going to be some requirements that you have to do, and you have to do those before August 1st. So there are some required modules that are federal requirements that every incoming college student is required to complete. An alcohol EDU module, there is a module that talks about Title IX requirements, as well as sexual assault knowledge and being able to know what the resources are on campus regarding the sexual assault resources that the university has available to you. So there are some federally mandated information that we are required to give you. And so those required modules will be available through this pre-orientation that is online, that you can do at any point between June 15th and August 1st. Another required activity that on there is to upload your photo, upload a photo as well as a copy of your driver's license or a government issued ID. So that way we can have your student ID ready for you when you come to campus in August. And there's a couple other required modules and activities that you'll be able to see when you get there. Outside of the required modules, everything else is choose your own adventure. And we say that because we know everybody's college experience is not the same. That some people are really interested in Greek life. And so we want you to be able to choose that adventure and learn a lot about sororities and fraternities. Other people, that's not something that they're interested in. And they really want to know more about, let's say, campus recreation. Or maybe you're a veteran and you're very interested in the veteran benefits and how to access those benefits. So choosing your own adventure for the other activities is going to be very important because you can decide what is important to you and what's not going to be as important to you. So Tech Talks is one of the ways that we are kind of presenting to you all of the different activities and organizations that you can be a part of and to be able to learn more information about those communities. So those will begin on July 8th, and it's going to kind of work like this virtual admitted student week did, that you'll get, there's going to be a Zoom link and you'll just have to click on that. And then there'll be presenters, there'll be students to ask questions. You guys will be able to, I guess students to talk about their experiences, and then you guys will be able to ask any questions that you have. So I'm not sure if you guys can read that or not. That's part of our flyer. And you'll see this information posted on the orientation website as well as all over social media starting next week. But these are all of the different topics that we are going to be discussing on all of those different dates. And so you don't have to sign up for these. It's not something that you have to register for. Basically, if you just want to print this out or pull this up and say, hey, I'm interested in this, I'm interested in this, and you'll just click on the link and join us for the Zoom meeting. You don't necessarily have to be super interested if you're just like, you know what, I don't know anything about campus recreation, so I want to go to that so I know exactly what's available. Maybe you're considering going Greek and being able to say, all right, well, I'm a guy, so the interfraternity council is going to be for the fraternities, so maybe I'll just log on to that and check it out and get more information about that. You don't have to know that you want to be involved with all of these activities. It's really more just because you want to find out more information. So a lot of the sessions are going to be about involvement, but there's other sessions that are identity related. So the first generation student program, if you're going to be the first in your family to graduate from college, if your parents did not graduate from college, that means that you are a first gen student. So you can definitely join that one. As well as the veteran services one. If you are a veteran and you are a military dependent and you want to know more about the benefits and the resources, and that one's going to be really great for you. The COVID-19 sessions are sessions that are going to be led by our health and wellness department, and one of the registered nurses that is on our COVID recovery team will be able to let you guys know about the resources that we have at the university, the plans that we have to keep everybody safe and healthy, and kind of what we're doing from this point forward. So if you go to that one on July 16th, there is a very good chance that the information is going to change by July 27th. And so if you want to go to multiple of those, we highly recommend that you do that, because as this is a very rapidly changing situation, the information that we have available, we can only give you the information that we have at that time. So if that's one that you want to go to multiple times, that's part of the reason that we have it multiple times, so that way you can get updated information. Like I said, these Tech Talks, they'll start July 8th, and this information, the flyer and all of the information about Tech Talks is going to be released next week. And so you can just start looking at that, put those on your calendar, and get excited about being able to speak with some students in those areas. So let's talk about on-campus orientation now. So like I said, classes start on Wednesday, August 19th. So freshman orientation, so freshman TECHConnect, will be August 15th through the 18th. So that is going to be the Saturday through the Tuesday. And this is on-campus orientation is required for everybody. So if you have a job, or if you are not planning on being here at that point, you need to go ahead and adjust your plans to make sure that you are available during that time. If you have already registered for classes, you will see that there is a class on your schedule that says 1ATU orientation. That is the orientation quote unquote class, and you are charged a fee for that. It is a $100 orientation fee that every student is mandated to have, which means that you need to attend this class because you are being charged for this. This is a 4-day class, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then you're done. But all of the stuff that we're going to be talking about during orientation is all going to be very, very related to the experience that you are about to have. So we will have campus tours, not only just throughout the whole entire campus, but we will have a tour of, let's find your classes. So just because you know where the, let's say Tomlinson building is, doesn't mean that you know where your classroom in Tomlinson is. And some of these buildings, the first floor is actually the basement. Then the second floor is the floor that, like, when you walk in is the second floor. And then there's other buildings that you are thinking that you're going to be walking, okay, here's room 4, here's room 6, here's room 8. Well, I'm looking for room 10, but I just hit the end of the hallway. Where's room 10? It's actually completely on the other side of the building, and you just don't know about that. So some of these buildings are really, the way that they're set up is really confusing. And so during orientation, you'll have the opportunity to not only tour campus, but to take your class schedule with a current student and walk around to the buildings and actually find the locations of your classes. That's the worst feeling when you are a freshman, you're new there, and you're coming in late to class because because you have no idea where your classroom is, and or you walk into the wrong classroom. One of my orientation leaders last year told a story that for the very first day of class, she sat through an entire class because she was discovered that she was in the wrong classroom about 10 minutes into class, but she was too embarrassed to get up. So she just sat through a wrong class and then left the room and then cried because she was so embarrassed and overwhelmed. So we don't want that experience to happen to any of you guys. So we really want you to, that's one of the benefits of orientation, is that you'll be able to kind of walk through that whole process with somebody. The other required sessions for orientation, you will be put in a small group with other people from your college, and then you'll be able to connect with a orientation leader, a current student leader that's going to kind of be able to guide you throughout the process. There'll be sessions on technology, so you know how to access everything, student wellness, academic meetings. So a lot of really great information, how to access tutoring services, how to access your the financial services if you need those. So all of the stuff that you need to know right at the moment that you need to know it. Right before classes start is when we're going to fill your head with all of these things. And then
Meighan,
just like the online pre-orientation.
Sorry, real quick. Courtney had a question. Is TECHConnect in a classroom setting? She asked.
Yes and no. At this point, given the restrictions because of the health concerns because of COVID, that we cannot have groups larger than 30. And so at some points we will be sitting in a classroom and or a lecture hall or some sort of room, and you'll be hanging out with other students and talking with current students. Other times you'll be walking around campus doing different types of activities. If we are in a classroom, then I can control the amount of people that are in there. We can control social distancing, and we can control the airflow and wearing masks and things like that. If we're just running around campus going crazy, we can't control things. And so then we have to depend on you guys to make sure that you are 6 feet apart from each other, that you are wearing your masks, that you are being as safe and healthy as you possibly can be. So some of it is in a classroom. Other parts, clearly if we're going on a tour or walking around campus, we won't be in a classroom setting for that. So after the required sessions, and the required sessions are kind of sprinkled throughout the 4 days for freshman orientation. Just like the pre-orientation that we have online, there is a choose your own adventure section, and there's probably 30 or 40 different sessions that you will be able to choose what you want to attend. Just like the Tech Talks, there's going to be other sessions like that. So if you went to the Greek session for the Tech Talks and were really interested in it and definitely want to learn more about it, there'll be more opportunities to learn about Greek life. If you absolutely loved the first generation meeting and you want to connect with more first generation students, we'll have lots of opportunities for you to do that. But we're going to have stuff that we can't do online. So we're going to have sample classes. So if you are not really good at math and you're taking math, you're taking college algebra for your first semester and you kind of want to know, what is this class going to be like? We're going to have a sample math class. We're going to have a sample English class. So those basic classes that you guys are going to be taking your freshman year, we're going to do a couple of sample classes with our faculty members, so that way you have a general idea of what this is going to look like. If you're taking a lab, let's say you're a biology major or a chemistry major and you're going to be taking a lab, a lot of times students have never been in a lab environment before. So we're going to offer tours of the lab. So that way, when you're going in there for the class for the first time, that's not the first time that you've ever seen a lab. So we're excited about that. We're also going to have a lot of open houses. So you can stop by the student health center. So that way, you know where it is and you can pre-register. So you don't have to do that. If you ever get sick, you're already ready and registered at the health center. We'll have open houses at the library. The financial aid and the student accounts office is going to have an open house. So all of the tutoring center, the multicultural center, the international student services, study abroad, all of those different areas that you may know about and may want more information or may not necessarily even know that we have that office. You can go stop by, get some ATU swag, and be able to talk to people about all of the resources that we have available. I think that's one of my favorite things about orientation is that it opens everybody's eyes to stuff that you may not even know exists. That studying abroad is one of the best opportunities that students can take advantage of as a college student. But a lot of times it's just like, oh my gosh, the first thing that you think of when you think of study abroad is money, that I can't afford to study abroad. But a lot of programs that ATU offers, you could actually use your scholarships and your financial aid to be able to study abroad. And so it makes studying abroad a lot more accessible. And you even have the opportunity to study at another institution in the US. And so you could go to the University of Notre Dame for a semester and then come back and finish up your program here and still be able to take a lot of the classes that go to towards your degree program. So a lot of students, when they finish orientation, their favorite part was learning about all of the stuff that they didn't know that they didn't know. That you can't know things if this is your first experience with this. And even if your parents went to college, probably 15, 20 years ago, and everything is completely different. And so being able to just look at something and say, I don't know what that is, but I'm going to go see and I'm going to go talk to somebody and be able to understand all of the resources that are available to me and take advantage of all of these cool things. Does anybody have any questions about anything that I talked about?
I have a few, but I'm way too lost.
Well, try me and we'll see what we can do.
All right, just come back to me whenever I have something.
Okay. I only have 2 more slides and then we'll come back to you. Yeah. All right. So obviously I said the online pre-orientation is going to be available on June 15th. So between now and June 15th, there's not really much that you need to be doing. But once June 15th hits, you have from June 15th to August 1st to go ahead and do that online pre-orientation. And then in August, that's when you're going to be doing the on-campus orientation. If we do have any transfer students here, your orientation is only Monday and Tuesday. And again, you'll receive much more information about that. It's the same concepts. It's just shorter period of time since you've already been to college and you have a better understanding of what the college atmosphere is like. We're just going to let you know how things work at ATU and get you connected to the ATU community. And so we only need 2 days for that. We don't necessarily need the full 4 days. So what else do you need to do between now and August 1st? So that's kind of like what we should be doing next. Obviously, one of the big things is you need to be registered for fall 2020 classes. There are about 1,100 of you that have already participated in a Tech Advise session. So if you participated in a Tech Advise session, all of those were virtual sessions. You have already registered for your classes. You are good to go. You don't need to make any changes. You don't need to do anything. If you did not participate in a Tech Advise session, then that means that you need to complete an individual advising appointment. So if you are a freshman, then that means that you are going to be advised through the Academic Advising Center, which is this top one right here, the Academic Advising Center. And you just need to send an email to adviseme@atu.edu with your ID number and your full name and say, I need to make an advising appointment, and they will get you connected. If you are a transfer student and you have less than 60 credits, you will also be advised through the Academic Advising Center. If you are a transfer student with more than 60 credits, then you are advised through your department. And you can just, on the main ATU website, you can just put in the search bar your department, and it'll come up with the contact information for your department and how you can be advised through a faculty advisor in your department. So getting registered for classes is going to be the first thing. That's something, if you have not registered for classes, you need to do that today. Email the advising center or email your department and get that scheduled today, so you can go ahead and get an advising appointment on the books. The next thing that you need to do is either sign up for housing or complete a commuter exemption form. So all freshmen are required to live on campus unless you live within a 30-mile radius, and you have to apply for that exemption. So if you have not either filled out a housing application or completed that exemption form, then you're behind already. And I hate to say that, but you are. So that's something that you need to do as soon as possible. If you've already filled out an application, but you have not chosen your room, all of that is available right now. So you can log on to OneTech and go to the housing portal and go ahead and choose your room, connect with your roommate, and all of that stuff. So if you have any questions about housing, that website right there and or housing@atu.edu is their email address. And you can go ahead and connect with them and get all of your housing stuff set. If you are commuting and you have not yet completed that commuter exemption form, that is required of you to do so. Especially if you're living in Russellville or Pottsville and you are just going to be living at home with your family, that's awesome. You totally are allowed to do that, but you just have to submit that form to make it official, to give them, so that way they can say, yes, this person lives within this 30-mile radius. We're going to go ahead and exempt them from this housing requirement. You can't just say, nope, I'm living at home, and then just disregard that form. You definitely have to complete that form. The other thing, and I said this earlier, setting up your ATU email address and checking that along with your OneTech account. That I know a lot of you have a couple of different email addresses, Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, whatever it happens to be, and that's awesome that you have all of those. But when you are communicating with anybody through the university, you must use your ATU email address. That I know faculty members that will not respond to emails or will not accept assignments if it doesn't come from your ATU email address, because they can't guarantee that A, it's actually you, and B, they don't know if there's any type of viruses or anything like that. And so it's really important when you are communicating with anybody that you do it from your ATU email address. And then lastly, bills will be available if you are registered for classes on July 15th. So on July 15th, that's when tuition and everything will be posted to your account. On July 16th or 17th, sometimes it takes a couple of days, that's when all of your aid will also be posted to your account. So if you, let's just say your bill is $5,000, and I don't know what it is, I'm just using that as a random number because that's the math that I'm going to be able to do. So let's just say your bill is $5,000. So on July 15th, you'll be able to log on and it's going to say your tuition and all of your fees and everything, it's $5,000. On July 16th or 17th, it's going to post all of your aid. So if you have any type of scholarships or loans or grants or anything like that, it's going to post all of that to your account. So if you have $4,000 in aid, then you're only going to owe $1,000. And so you'll be able to see that, how much you're actually going to owe, and then you have until the first day of classes to pay that. If your bill is $5,000 and you have $6,000 in aid, then you have that extra $1,000, and that extra $1,000 will then be mailed to you after your first day of classes. After all of the bills are due, then you'll be able to get that extra money back to be able to use for educational resources. And so it's really important that you register for classes, ideally by this July 15th date, so you can see what your tuition and fees are, and you'll have that whole entire end of August or end of July and beginning of August to be able to figure out how you're paying for all of that. If you do not have classes by July 15th, you will not see a tuition posted. If you have an advising appointment, let's say July 18th, once you've registered for classes on July 18th, the next day is when all of your tuition and fees will pop up. So it takes about 24 hours from the time that you register for classes after July 15th for all of that to pop up. If you have any questions about finances, how am I going to pay for this? Have I filled out the FAFSA? All of that, that's definitely something that the Office of Financial Aid and student accounts can answer for you. And somebody's going to post that website as well as that email address in the chat for you guys to be able to look at. I don't have access to anybody's financial information, and I am not trained or qualified to be able to answer any financial questions, but they are, and they'll be able to look up your account and specifically do all of that. So that's going to be really important. The other things that you should do, engaging with us on social media. From June 15th, when the pre-orientation opens, until all the way until the first day of classes, there's going to be a lot of information on our media, whether that's Arkansas Tech University, Campus Life, or we have a new account that's New Students ATU, and that's going to be on Twitter, and we're trying to get an Instagram right now. There's going to be a lot of contests. There's going to be a lot of fun things that you guys can do, posting pictures, answering questions, that you can win a lot of cool stuff. And we'll be able to either mail that to you, or you'll be able to pick it up when you get to campus, whether that's t-shirts or whether that's potentially book scholarships or anything like that. So you want to get onto social media, and don't just follow it, actually engage with it, because A, it's going to make it a lot more fun, and B, then you can actually win something. And then the other thing that I want you guys to do, start chatting with your families about your goals, your expectations, and how things are going to change. That you have absolutely no idea. Maybe your mom expects you to text her 15 times a day, every single day while you guys are gone. That's a little overwhelming, and that's not something that you're actually going to be able to do. But maybe you actually expect your mom to text you 15 times a day, and she's like, no, I don't want to. She's like, go to college, get out. So really just kind of sitting down and discussing what's going to be going on. Who's paying for what? Are you paying for this? Are they expecting you to get a job? Are they expecting you to come visit? If you are 45 minutes away from home and you're living on campus, how often do they expect you to come home? If you are coming from Texas, you're clearly not going to be coming home all that often. So how often do they expect you to be coming home? What about dad's birthday? Is that something that you expect her to come home for? If you are living at home, let's say you're going to be a commuter, things are still going to change, so that you're going to be on campus more often. Do they still expect you to be home for dinner? Do you still have a curfew? What about the chores that you do around the house? Are you still expected to unload the dishwasher before you leave for campus every single day? So there's a lot of things in your life that are going to be changing, regardless if you're going to be commuting or whether you're going to be living on campus. What about your academics? What's the expectation that you and your family have for academics? Is a 2.5 okay, or do they expect a 4.0? If they expect a 4.0 plus they want you to work 40 hours a week, that's unrealistic. And so we sent a book to all of the freshmen that were registered for a tech advice session. We sent you a packet, and it had a student packet as well as a parent packet. And in that parent packet, there's a section that talks about real talk and conversations that you should have with your family. And the conversations parents should have with their students, and conversations students should have with their families. So that's really important for you guys to check out. There's going to be a lot more freedom that you're going to have as a college student. So what about alcohol? A lot of you guys aren't 21, and so clearly drinking is illegal. But we know what happens. And so how do your families feel about that? How do your families feel about dating? How do your families feel about going out with members of the opposite sex or members of the same sex, depending on your sexuality? There's a lot of different questions and a lot of different areas that you guys are going to be exposed to. Some of you are coming from very rural areas where it's very homogeneous, that you haven't really met a lot of people that don't look like you. So when you're going to campus and you're experiencing a lot of different situations for people from different backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, or just different places along Arkansas, what does that look like, and how are you guys going to be dealing with that, and how are you going to open up your mind to different viewpoints? So really being able to think through all of these things, this is not something that you want to do in August. It's going to be very overwhelming if you just start having these conversations in August. So these are all of the things that we want you to think about. And this is a lot of stuff that we're going to be tossing around on social media. Hey, have you discussed this with your family? Maybe you should take this week to discuss this with your family. Have you thought about this? Here's some resources that we have about this. So really being able to engage with you throughout all of that. Because if you do that and you do a little bit of work every day, then this last bullet point on this slide is really going to be able where you're going to, don't stress. There's enough stress when you get here in August that we don't want you to stress right now, that you have plenty of time to do everything that we're asking you to do, that we want you to enjoy your summer. I realize
Too late, already am.
Awesome. That's great. I had plans this summer that were canceled. I was supposed to go on a road trip, and unfortunately I can't do that because of the coronavirus. And I know a lot of you probably had a lot of plans and graduation trips and things that you just can't do because of the current situation. So there's already enough stress in our lives. We don't need to be stressing a lot more about this. We want you guys to enjoy your summer, hang out with your friends, hang out with your family, and just kind of process all of this in little itty bitty pieces instead of in one chunk. So that way you can enjoy your summer and be completely prepared for when you actually come back in August. Yeah. That's all the information that I have, but I'm sure this brought up a ton of questions. So if there's a ton of questions in the chat, Kristen, throw them out. But if anybody wants to chat with taking themselves off mute and do that, we can do that as well.
Yeah, there are some that are in the chat. One from Madison is, do you have to put in an exemption form if you're a transfer student?
If you are under the age of 21, I believe, and you have less than 60 credits, then the on-campus requirement does still apply to you. So I want to say yes, if that fits, if those requirements fit you, but you can also just email housing@atu.edu and give them your student ID number with the one that starts with a T and your full name and say, hey, I'm a transfer student. I'm just checking to see if I have to submit a commuter exemption form based off of my situation. And they'll be able to let you know what that looks like.
Good deal. Another question from Justin about the student ID photo upload. Is the only ID I have is my high school ID and an expired passport. Would those be able to work, or do they need to obtain different IDs?
An expired passport is fine. Basically, we just need a government issued ID to verify that the picture that you have uploaded is actually you, and that the birthday that is on your account and the name that's on your account does match the ID and the information that we have in the system. So it's okay if the passport is expired. We just have to take a picture of it so it shows your full name and the picture on that government issued ID.
This next one is because we started talking about study abroad, but is there a way for us to get a passport on campus? Now, I believe like passports are run through like post offices and different centers for that.
There's a possibility. I don't know. Like usually the post office usually post office do have applications that you can submit for a passport. I don't know if the post office on campus has that ability. But if they don't, then there are 2 other post office in Russellville that you could go to and submit that paperwork. You can get the paperwork online for a passport. If you just say, just literally go to Google or any type of search engine and just put passport application, and then it'll come up with a passport application. And then if you want to call the post office on campus, there is somebody there from 8 to 5 every single day, even during this campus closure. So you could go ahead and call the post office on campus and just go to the main ATU website and put in post office, and it will come up with a phone number, and you could ask them if you could turn in a passport application there, or if they have to take it to an actual full post office. Unfortunately, I don't know the answer to that.
Right, and I think the study abroad office, if you were interested for study abroad, they would work with you step by step for that process. So that wouldn't be an issue. A question from Rebecca. Did you send the packet about the family questions through the mail or tech email? I think that was like the dynamic.
We sent it through the mail. Yeah. So it actually was an actual mailing. So we sent those out probably a week ago. If you did not get it, go ahead and send an email to orientation@atu.edu, and we can double check to see if you were sent one. I was just on campus this morning, and I noticed that there was a whole stack that got returned to sender. So could be some email addresses or some actual physical addresses that were incorrect that we had. We just mailed it to whatever address we had on file for you from the university. But there is actually an online version of the parent guide that I will go ahead and post in the chat here in just 1 second. Unless Meredith, if you want to go to the Parent and Family Relations website, and under the yellow stuff, there should be, it's the parent guide is what you're looking for.
While she's doing that, Justin McKeever had a question about pre-orientation sign up. He asked, when I sign up for pre-orientation on the 15th, is that when I'll get the sign up for the freshman programs?
It really depends on what freshman programs he's referring to. The online pre-orientation is for everybody. It's not just for freshmen. It's for freshmen and transfer students. And you'll have access to a bunch of different things. One of the things that you will be doing at the pre-orientation is signing up for the on-campus orientation and letting us know what sessions you're interested in attending so we can make sure that we have those available and ready for you. It depends. I mean, if he could clarify what freshman programs he's referring to, I could maybe answer that a little bit better.
Sure. Yeah. Justin, do you want to kind of elaborate on your question for us?
Feel free to unmute yourself and you can just chat with us.
Give him a second maybe to find the mute button. And then also after Justin, William would like to ask a question too. All right, no problem. Justin, if you want to send something through the chat, Austin be our
there he is.
There he is.
Justin.
There he is. Okay.
Justin, what's your question about the freshman programs?
Ask it. This is his mom. When he goes in on the pre-orientation, then I know mandatory move-in date is the 15th for him into his dorm, and he will have to attend the 4 different new orientations for the student. Will he be actually selecting those times on this pre-orientation setup, or does the school automatically tell him when he has to go and where on the 15th through the 18th?
We will give him a schedule and let him know where he needs to go on the 15th through the 18th. We are currently reviewing what our move-in process will look like. In the past, we have had one move-in day, August 15th, and it's been on a Saturday, and everybody has moved in at the same time. That is not possible given the current situation. So right now we are kind of reviewing what that move-in day is going to look like. There's a chance that it could be over those 4 days. It could be a little bit earlier. I don't know anything about it. So because I don't work in the housing office, but once we have more information about what that move-in will actually look like, then you guys will be emailed and we'll let you know. But we will be sending you guys more emails that kind of let you know that orientation starts on August 15th on that Saturday. And this is when you need to be here and this is when you need to go. But that schedule will be released throughout the summer. And so you'll be able to say, okay, on Saturday and Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, here's all of the required sessions that I absolutely have to be at. And then I can pick and choose what all of these other choose my own adventure sessions are going to be. But I would say just kind of plan on being on campus for the full day for those 4 days.
If he's also relocating from Texas, because we're in Texas, so he's an out-of student, I'm going to assume, I know the school hasn't figured all this out yet either, but for those people that are coming from out of town, do you guys know if they're going to open the dorms a little earlier than the 15th?
There's a possibility of that, but I don't know. That would be a great question, housing@heu.edu. And if they don't know the answer right now, they'll basically just kind of keep you on a list. And once they do know the answer, then they'll be able to send you an email and answer that question. Like I said, they're basically trying to go over every possible opportunity. And their biggest concern right now is to make sure that everybody is going to be safe and following as many health recommendations from the university as well as the Arkansas Department of Health to make sure that we are not putting anybody in a situation that's unhealthy or unsafe for anybody, whether that is you guys or whether that's our faculty, staff, or students.
Thank you so much.
Sure thing.
Awesome. And we had 2 students who wanted to ask a question, both Melina and William. So whoever would like to go first.
William.
Well, this is Melina, and I have a daughter. Actually, I'm the parent. So I had a question about tuition and if books are included in tuition.
They are not. Books are separate. So on July 15th, when the tuition and fees are posted on your student's account, it will not include books. So your student will be able to log. Sorry, what was that?
I'm so sorry, so sorry. How do we go about finding out which book she needs?
So once your student registers for their classes, they'll be able to log on to OneTech and be able to click on their classes and see which books are required for each of those classes. And then they can either log on to the ATU bookstore online and kind of go through those books and order them and then bring them to campus with them, or they can wait until they get to campus on August 15th, and the bookstore will be open on that Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, and they could stop by at any of those days and pick up their books on campus. The ATU bookstore does do price matching, and so once you guys find that book that you guys have, if you're looking on Amazon, if you're looking at another bookstore, and if you find it cheaper at another bookstore than what they do at the ATU bookstore, then I would just take a screenshot of that and send it to the ATU bookstore, or bring it in with you and say, hey, I found this book on Amazon, or I found this book at this other bookstore and it was $12 cheaper. Can you go ahead and pull this up and sell it to me at this price? They'll totally do that. So that's definitely going to be a way for you to do that.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I just pulled up an image so you can see what she was talking about on OneTech. This is my OneTech, and you just click on this registration tab right here, and then this Find Textbooks will route you to the ATU Barnes & Noble bookstore, and you can look up each textbook for your classes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's really up to each student. The current students will definitely talk about books during the orientation, and that's actually one of the topics that I just pulled up our social media calendar, and books is one of the topics that they are going to be talking about on that new student ATU Twitter account, as well as the ATU Campus Life social media. So definitely go ahead and follow that. But some current students will wait until the first day of classes and talk to the professor and find out, okay, how much is this? How much are we going to be using this book? What books are required? What books are optional? And wait until the first day of classes and then decide which books they want to purchase. Other students just go and they buy every single book that is on their list, and they are more comfortable doing that than waiting because they want to have those books for the first day of classes. It's really just up to you guys. A lot of times students can't afford books until they receive their refund checks, if they're going to be getting a refund check back because they have extra money. So, and if you can't do that, then that's totally fine. All right, I think William had a question.
Oh my God, I've just gone through 2 circles of stress. I'm so stressed. I went through 2 circles, so I don't know if I'm stressed anymore. Anywho, so my question is, will you be sending all this info to like our emails and such? And would you by any chance try to simplify it so we don't get confused on it? And
yes, all of this information will be sent via email, and it's not going to be sent all at the same time. Every single thing that I told you is literally all of the stuff that you need to do between now and August and before the first day of classes. And it's like a fire hose. I'm taking a fire hose and I'm like giving it to all of you guys and saying, drink this, versus being able to give you a water bottle every single day and say, hey, here's a little bit of water. So it's
well,
totally
I'm over
fine.
here trying to figure out why you're trying to shoot me down with a fire hose.
It's totally fine if you're overwhelmed. Everybody feels that way. So yes, we are going to be sending you guys emails. We're going to be having all of this information on the orientation website. June 15th is basically the magic day. We had an orientation planned, and then COVID happened, and so we basically had to throw everything away and replan everything. So it's taking us a little while to kind of get back into the swing of things and change everything on our website and make everything accessible for y'all. So give us a little bit of time until June 15th, and then the website will be updated. We'll be sending you emails with all of the information, and it's just going to be short pieces of information and say, do this now, do this now, do this now. And as long as you kind of follow along with those emails and follow along that information that's in the pre-orientation, you'll be just fine.
Okay, because you were throwing a lot of info at me at a very high speeds, and now I'm a person that just wants to take it slow, but I know we're on a tight schedule, so I appreciate it. but oh my God, you were talking at the speed of light.
I do. I talk really fast because I wanted to make sure I got through all of the information.
Yes, and all this is being recorded, and it will be uploaded to our YouTube for you guys to go back and pause, start and stop, rewind, so you don't miss anything. Deep breaths.
I
Yeah,
thought
don't
just
stress.
making that that audition video for ARS was tough, but no, this is way tougher.
Yeah, nope, you're fine. The best
Yeah.
way to prepare for college is literally to go to college. They don't give you a class on how to actually go to college. So the best way to prepare your first semester of college is literally your first semester in college.
Yeah.
But if you can get through the summer and you can actually get to college, you are good to go for everything else. Melina, did you have another question?
I did actually. Thank you again for your time. I missed how to get a hold of the advisor. Will you give me that website again?
Sure. The email address is adviseme@atu.edu.
Okay.
If your student is a freshman.
Yes, she is a freshman.
Yeah.
And so when we talk to that person, is that who we set up dorms with and pick classes with?
You'll pick classes with that person.
Okay.
If you still need to set up a residence hall, then the website atu.edu/housing.
Okay.
And there's a link on there that literally says apply.
Okay.
Apply for housing, and you would click on that. So if your student has not filled out a housing application, then that's definitely something you would want to do today, and email adviseme@atu.edu today. And you may not necessarily get a response today from the advisors, but they'll have that in their queue and they'll be able to respond tomorrow. It's usually about a 24-hour turnaround on any email that you're going to send. Unless you send it Friday. Our summer hours for a lot of offices are 8 to 12 on Fridays.
Okay.
So anything that you send afternoon on a Friday is probably not going to get answered until Monday, just FYI.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
In addition to, you're wanting to schedule an advising appointment, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, in addition to that, let me share my screen again and show you. You can also schedule it through your OneTech. So if you click on the registration tab, the same one where you go to find your textbooks, you can click on this plan your registration and click on that link. It's another one of the ways to get that taken care of.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you.
Just make sure whenever you guys are sending an email to anybody on campus that you include your T number. So whatever that's your student ID number, and then your full name, especially if your name is James Little, but you actually go by Colton. And so you're signing everything Colton, but your actual name is James. Make sure you put your full name in there because it can be really confusing. I got an email this morning from iloveshoes@gmail.com. And the body of the email said, I need help with orientation. That was it. So I literally have I don't know what they need help with, and I can't even look up the student to figure out who it was and how I mean, all I can do is respond to that email and say, I would love to help you. Please give me more information. So help us help you by making sure that you're sending us emails from that ATU email address and that you're including your T number and your full name.
iloveshoes.gmail.com.
I got nothing. I mean, maybe they really love shoes.
I gotta have that on my gravestone.
Awesome. So we have about 10 minutes left. What other questions do you guys have?
I do have a question.
Yes. Courtney, what's going on?
Sorry. Okay, so they were talking, so for like your IDs to like get into like the buildings and stuff, how are we supposed to like access, how are we supposed to get those? I know I was in a session about an hour or two ago and they were talking about how you have to go to like a link on your OneTech, but like I couldn't find it anywhere. And like I know you have to use those to like get into like buildings and stuff. And I just was wondering how you're supposed to get those, or have to wait till you get on campus. Or
Kristen, do you see
Sorry,
that?
I was responding to a chat. What was that?
Do you have the link for the ID on your OneTech or no?
The link for the ID?
Yeah. Under the registration tab.
No, I do not. Under the, no.
It should
Maybe
be under
student life?
Yeah, it should be under the registration tab. I don't have it because I'm not a student.
Yeah, me neither.
But here, let me pull up the orientation site, and we can get to it a different way.
Okay.
Nope, I want this. Fall. Upload your photo ID. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna put this in the chat. All right, if you go to that link and then scroll down, and under event details, you'll see a green bar across it. And one of those things is upload your photo ID. If you click on that, then it gives you information, and it gives you all sorts of, and it tells you where it is in OneTech, but then it also has like the approved photo policy that tells you how to take the photo. And then there's a link at the bottom that says upload your tech photo ID, and you can get to it through there. Basically, you just need to stand in front of a blank wall and take a picture. And just, literally, it's just, I would do a selfie. I would have somebody take it, but just take it with your phone and then take a picture of your driver's license or government issued ID with your phone. And then you just pull it up on your phone and upload everything. You will get that ID when you check into your residence hall if you're a residential student, or if you are a commuter student, then you'll get that ID when you check into orientation. Regardless if you're a freshman or a transfer, you will, if you are a residential student, freshman or transfer, you'll get it at move-in. If you are a commuter, freshman or transfer, you'll get it at orientation check-in.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Will the tuition be posted on June or July 15th?
July 15th.
Okay, thank you.
Is when tuition will be posted. And then, like I said, aid will be added to the account on like the 16th or the 17th. So don't panic when you see on the 15th that you owe like $6,000. Don't panic. Wait until the 16th or the 17th and they have all of the aid uploaded, and then you'll actually see what your balance is after that.
Gotcha. Now she's having problems uploading her FAFSA information to the portal. What is the best way to correct that?
That's going to be a financial aid question. So okay. I would email the financial aid office. I want to say it's FAO at atu.edu, but somebody will post that in the chat here in a second.
Thank you.
But yeah, because I don't have access to any financial aid information or any finances, so I couldn't even tell you that. So I apologize.
No, you're fine.
Help at atu.edu.
Yes.
Veronica had a question when we need to upload the ID by. If you are moving in, then you need to do it by like the middle of July. If you are going to be living on campus, just so that way they have enough time to pull all of those and divide those by residence hall. So I would say by like July 25th. If you are not living on campus, then I would say August 1st. Just so that way there's plenty enough time for them to print all of those IDs, and then we're gonna have to literally go through 1,000 IDs and organize them. So sooner rather than later is when you need to upload that ID. If for some reason you're not able to upload that ID, you can come to campus when campus opens. Right now, campus is scheduled to open on August 3rd. So if you are local and you want to come to campus and get your ID picture taken and get your ID on campus, that's totally fine. It'll just make the process a lot easier if you are able to upload your picture.
William had another question in the chat about the email we'll be sending him, and do we know when we'll email it exactly?
June 15th is when that first email will go out.
So mark your calendars, June 15th.
But if you don't have an email in your inbox by like 8 a.m., don't panic. There are 9 hours in my workday on June 15th. So by 5, 6, 7 o'clock that night, there will, at some point on June 15th is when the email will be going out. So don't be emailing me at orientation. It's 8:01. Where's my email? Time out, calm down. At some point on June 15th is when you will get that email.
So I don't get my pitchforks and torches.
No, please don't.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. We have about 4 more minutes. What other questions do we have? Really? I answered all of your questions? That's not possible.
Very informative.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, like William says, this is a lot of information. So
Yes.
Please feel free that email address that we gave you, orientation@atu.edu. I check that multiple times a day. So regardless of whatever question you have, even if I can't answer it, I'll be able to connect you with the people that can actually answer it. So that's a great place. And then, like I said, it's going to take us between approximately now till June 15th to start updating everything. But June 15th is really when most of the information is going to be available on the pre-orientation as well as on our website, and then we'll just continue adding stuff to it to make sure that you guys have everything available that you need to be able to feel comfortable to start in August. And I'm super excited that you guys took this hour to come and get all of this information, and you guys are being very proactive, and that is one of the best things that you can possibly do, is to seek out information. I just know that every single one of you is going to be super successful when you guys get here in August, purely by the fact that you're here. So congratulations. This is awesome.
Yes.
You guys are brave by getting on here and actually answering questions. So thank you guys very much. We appreciate it, and good luck, and let us know if you have any other questions.
Wait. Hold on. What was the email that you told us to check regularly again?
Your email address, your ATU email address.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Kristen, what else do you got?
That's all, guys. Remember to be checking your email that you registered with for our closeout email with the Go to ATU app and the YouTube links for all the session recordings. So take care. Thanks for joining our session. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.